Hello, and welcome to a presentation about music at Liverpool Hope University. So music sits within the School of Creative and Performing Arts, and that is based at the Creative Campus, where all our specialist spaces for arts and obviously music are housed. That includes lots of rehearsal space, practice rooms and concert venues, and I'll tell you a bit more about those later on. We're right near the city centre at the Creative Campus, and for those of you that don't know Liverpool, if you have a look at websites such as the Liverpool Philharmonic website, you'll see that there's a huge range of classical and other sorts of concerts going on there. There are lots of galleries, arts events happening. There is Sound City, which is a huge popular music festival. So there are lots of things going on that help our students to feel part of a really vibrant place to study. This picture is actually of Hope Park, which is the other side of Liverpool, which is the other part of our university where some of our music students choose to study if they're having a combined subject which is taught at Hope Park. So for example, creative writing or education. They might travel then between the Creative Campus and Hope Park in our free shuttle bus. And you can see that Hope Park's a really beautiful campus, as is the Creative Campus. Teaching in music at Hope involves lectures, seminars and tutorials. And just to give you an overview of what these are like, so the lectures involve students in research-led exploration of a wide variety of musical topics. So it's really important to remember that Music at Hope is non-genre specific, and it allows all musicians, no matter whether they come from a popular music background, classical, jazz, folk, no matter their musical background, you'll be able to engage with all the lectures. So there are various and we hope really interesting for everyone. Seminars focus on development of performance and compositional skills with direct links to the lecture content. Again, non-genre specific, so we don't teach students to compose in any one particular style. The focus is on gaining a broad understanding of performing and composing across styles, although of course most of us do specialise in a particular style that we want to focus in on. And we have a very big team of instrumental and vocal tutors who will help students to focus in on their specialism. But in the seminars, it's much more about getting a broader view of performance and composing. Tutorials, these create opportunities for students to lead the learning. These are about development of academic skills, but also, this is really important, it's a forum for discussion of current issues in music. So that's where our students' own opinions, ideas and thoughts will come across, and you will have the opportunity and the platform to share your voice and to tell us what you think about various different issues in music. The emphasis at Hope is on practical musicianship development. It isn't just about writing about music or sitting, composing music. It's about practical development of your skills in relatively small class sizes with highly specialist tutors. Employability is seen as a really important focus, and it's really our overarching goal in our degree, because we understand that students want to know what's going to happen next. And although things look very precarious at the moment with COVID and the impact that that has had on arts generally, and particularly the performing arts, we know that employability is important to you. And so there is a focus through our degree on aspects of employability within music and the arts. And I'll tell you a bit more about that in a moment. So year one curriculum, music students engage in 3 lectures a week, and those focus around aspects such as score analysis and creation, critical listening skills, and music technology. And that's really to give all our students a grounding in those aspects, including music technology, because we know that not all our students have had a chance to do things such as set up a microphone, do a simple recording. And so it's important that you get that very practical grounding right from the start. Composition seminars encourage creativity and they are highly supportive. You'll be composing in first year for small ensembles, including your own instrument, exploring a variety of ways to score your composition. So you won't always be producing a full score. It might sometimes be a score that has aspects of graphic scoring in it, for example. It could be a lead sheet. And performing your work is also really important to us. So we want to create opportunities for your compositions to be performed by yourself, by your fellow students, or sometimes even by professionals that we bring in to perform and give you feedback on your compositions. Performance allows you to develop not just as a soloist, but also as an ensemble or band performer. The seminars are linked to the vocal and instrumental lesson programme that I mentioned earlier and involve you in preparation for a variety of live concerts, events. For example, the university choir often sing at university events, formal events such as graduation. Instrumental groups might be performing at those events, but we also have full range of concerts throughout the year, including lunchtime concerts. And in year one, assessment, so you're assessed via coursework portfolios in lecture and written material. So you'll be asked to write some essays about the works that you're studying. You'll also be asked to produce a portfolio of compositions, and you will have a live performance examination at the end of the year as well. Tutorials at Hope are conducted in small groups of usually around 10 students. This allows you to have a chance to really get to know that same group of students every week and your special tutor that you will stay with for the whole year. In year one, the focus is on issues in music, exploring themes such as gender inequality in music. Recently, we've looked at issues in music theory, the predominance of a Western tradition and some of the issues that surround that, and changes in music as technology advances. And of course, that's happening very, very quickly all the time. Students are encouraged to share their own ideas and to engage in personal research to further their own and their peers' developmental thinking. And the tutorials is a space for discussion. And this is where we want to hear your voice. And hopefully that will help you to grow in confidence and develop your own musical voice and identity. In year two, lectures further develop skills in critical listening, again across genres and styles. And this is where we introduce our employment-focused elements, specifically focusing on music education and the music industry. We know that nearly all our students will at some stage teach somebody. It might be that students go on to become peripatetic music teachers. They might be private music teachers. They might teach one-to-one, or they might teach whole classes as a primary or secondary school music teacher. And so teaching is very important, but also the music industry. So we have lectures which are not only focused on music teaching, but also on working within the music industry and music business focus. So that gives you a chance later on in the course to think about work experience. And then obviously the next step is, what do you want to do after your degree? So we start thinking about that as early as second year. Our seminars develop compositional techniques and performance skills with live performance opportunities for both composer and performer. And this is really important, that we keep you performing and composing live, as well as obviously being able to record your own music. So working together on lots of collaborative live music projects. Assessment in Year 2 is via portfolios of compositions and written work with a live performance examination at the end of the year. But it's very important to remember that all the way through your degree, formative assessment, that's ongoing assessment with regular feedback, will be given to support your progress. So it's not just one assessment at the end of the year, it's ongoing assessment. In third year, you become probably more independent or autonomous as a learner. And at that time, you're going to be preparing for your dissertation, which is a focus that you will make on an area that you're passionate about. You'll take an opportunity to engage as well in work placements. So the two big foci for this year are the dissertation and the work placement. Work placements develop the learning in Year 2, creating opportunities for students to work in educational industry settings. And that's where students will begin to develop networks, which are really important in the performing arts. It's really important to get to know some other people outside of the university that could be really helpful contacts, and focus on planning for your future studies or employment goals. Some students, or quite a lot of our students, actually do go on to further postgraduate study. Again, assessment is via coursework portfolios, so you will have a portfolio of compositions and a portfolio, which also could be arrangements, by the way, and a portfolio of written work, and then your final performance recital, which would, under normal circumstances, be in our beautiful Capstone Theatre. Your dissertation is a major feature of the final assessment, and this can be practice-based, so it could be a practical dissertation, but there will always be a written element. So it could be very practical and still have a smaller written element, or it could be a totally written piece of research. Facilities in music. Well, as I mentioned earlier, the Creative Campus is a facility in itself, in that it houses all our wonderful spaces for music and all the other creative arts. There are about 600 students at the Creative Campus, all studying in arts subjects, from music to dance to fine art to design and drama as well. And so music is situated within one of those buildings, which is the Capstone Theatre building and the Cornerstone building. And there are performance spaces there, as well as rehearsal areas. We have new recording facilities, which came online in 2020. And we're also developing those, which is an ongoing programme of development, so that you'll be able to perform and record your work to a professional standard using the best technology that is available. Anyone who plays the piano will be pleased to know that Hope is an accredited Steinway Centre. This means that all the pianos are of professional Steinway standard, including a wonderful full-size concert grand, which is housed in the Capstone Theatre. Band rehearsal spaces and several different concert spaces allow for all genres of music to be catered for. So it might be that you're playing perhaps in a more intimate ensemble, like a string quartet or a small vocal group. We have special spaces where that sort of performance in concert would be ideal. But here you can see a photo of the Great Hall, where bigger ensembles, so the wind orchestra or a full choir, might rehearse and perform in a space such as the Great Hall. The Creative Campus students are encouraged to collaborate and use the facilities to create works such as musical theatre or small and large ensemble concerts, experimental and technology-based creation and performance. So it's a very broad brush, if you like, and we want everybody to not feel boxed into any one type of performing. So it's your chance to experiment a bit and come out of your comfort zone if that's what you would like to do. The Capstone building has a range of purpose-built practice rooms. So there are 9 practice rooms on the ground floor, and then you can also book several other spaces for rehearsals. There are recording studios as well, which can be booked by students. The university owns 2 harpsichords and drum kits, percussion, keyboards and electric pianos as well, and obviously amplification for those. And you're able to book those spaces on a regular basis so that you can either rehearse on your own, do your own practice time, or work with bands and groups. And here you can see some of our students actually rehearsing. The top picture actually is an open mic night. That's on the Capstone stage. The second picture down is a lunchtime concert on the Capstone stage, and that's part of one of our recording studios at the bottom. Extracurricular opportunities are really, really important at Hope. We have quite a reputation for choral music, and all first-year students are encouraged to sing in the choir. We also have regular concerts by the concert band, which you can see in the picture at the bottom. And we have a Voices of Hope a cappella vocal group, a string ensemble, and some smaller chamber groups, which obviously students, when they start at Hope, quite often they want to start up their own groups and bands. So that's encouraged greatly, because we don't just want this to be tutor-led, we want lots of student-led music. So in fact, the string ensemble has been led by students for 2 years now. We have open mic nights. So if you're into popular music or jazz, you can showcase your skills at an open mic night, or in fact a lunchtime concert where everyone's encouraged to perform regularly. That way, by the time you get to your performance recital at the end of the year, you've had lots of chances to grow in confidence as a performer. And here we can see at the top there, the Capstone Theatre, where your performance recital would usually take place. And you can see it's a really lovely theatre space. This is from the stage looking outwards. What do students say? Well, students say, and these, I've not made these up or paid anyone to say them, by the way. These are real students who have offered to share some comments. So Megan, who is a horn player, she says she loves concert band. It is a way to connect with a group of people who are different ages and are from different backgrounds. She says she's gained so much confidence being part of this supportive ensemble, which is a big achievement for me. I think that just highlights there the importance of you developing your own confidence as a musician, as a performer, as a composer or arranger. Jack wants to say that amongst the range of opportunities within the extracurricular activities, the diverse lecture series and outstanding tutor support, studying music at Hope University has helped me become aware of my personal connection and entanglement with music. And from this, the ways in which I intend on using music in the future. So there's that kind of looking ahead to what happens next. How am I going to use this degree? He says it's allowed me to lay the foundations of a solid musicianship from which I can build upon after graduating. And Sam says music at Hope makes you blossom as a musician, and that blossoming, that is that developmental journey that you will be on as a musician in your own right. So let's think a bit more about employment opportunities. So Music at Hope leads to a variety of employment opportunities, and there are all sorts of different examples I could give you. We never just see students going into one type of area of employment. It's really quite diverse. Many students gain employment in the creative industries and successfully perform, usually as part of a portfolio career. So it's not usual nowadays for people to become performers per se, that's all they do. It's quite difficult to make a good living if you're just performing, although it's not impossible and some people do that. But I can think of lots of students who have left Hope and have a portfolio, and that portfolio quite often consists of a lot of performing with some. It might be teaching, it might be private teaching, they might teach in a couple of schools on different days, or they might do some admin somewhere, they might do something completely unrelated to music part-time. And so they build up this kind of portfolio of experience. I can think of a couple of students who now arrange and compose, but also have teaching in their portfolio and some performing. So it is something that you need to think about early on. Is this portfolio something, and what would you like in your portfolio? Is that something that you would aspire to have? There are also, of course, jobs in the industry. And we have a long tradition of training music teachers as well. So every year we train the PGCE secondary music cohort to go out there and teach music in secondary schools. And at Hope Park, you can also study primary teaching, which music would be part of that course. And lots of our students go on to study for an MA. So at the moment, we're building a new MA, which is Creative Music Practice. And there is also an MCreate programme, which is also quite new, which means that you would have an extension to your degree of 1 year. So after your 3-year degree, you would then have another year and you would then exit with an MA in Creative Practice. Quite a lot of our students also go on to postgraduate study at the Royal Northern College of Music. We have a student who has just become an opera singer, actually, and she is now singing full-time as an opera singer, which is quite a big achievement. Well, it's a very big achievement. And she studied also at the Royal Northern College of Music. So postgraduate study is an option for lots of students. Other examples, so here are Ukebox, and they actually perform as their full-time job. They've been on cruise ships, they've been to the Caribbean, they perform locally. You can actually hear them in Liverpool quite regularly performing. They were 4 undergraduates who then graduated with a music degree and weren't sure what to do next. So they bought themselves a ukulele each and now perform regularly and are doing really well. And here's Charlotte Clifton, who graduated in 2019 in music and then studied for a PGCE in secondary music teaching, and now is a music teacher in Manchester, and who wrote to me recently to say, I absolutely love my job and being a music teacher. So that's really great news. And finally then, just one of our other students, Gemma, who wanted me to share this on this presentation. She says, the teachers are so welcoming, and from the very start you feel comfortable and at home. I think that's really important, isn't it? You can actually live on campus. So at the Creative Campus, we have accommodation, which a lot of our music students do take up, particularly in first year. And we want you to be comfortable, we want you to feel at home, and we want your teachers to be nice and welcoming and friendly, because it's about collaboration and community. So at Hope, the community is really important to us. We want that community to be supportive. So what else does Gemma say? Gemma says the extracurricular is always so much fun. Working with like-minded people to bring a piece of music together, it's really magical. Being able to showcase it at lunchtime concerts is always so rewarding. Yeah, so developing as a musician by actually putting your music out there for other people to hear, it's really important. As she says, she's so glad she chose Music at Hope. The course is interesting and challenging, and I enjoy everything I learn. And I would just emphasize the word challenging there. Music at Hope won't always be easy, and it won't always focus on music that you would naturally want to listen to, perhaps. So sometimes students say, well, I don't really like that kind of music. but actually it's about your learning journey, and it's about you becoming musically literate, musically interesting. So are you an interesting person to talk to in terms of the amount of music you listen to? So we want it to be challenging. We want to challenge you to become more than you are now as a musician. And you can contact us to talk to us about music or any of the other subjects you might be interested in studying alongside music. So we need to remember that music is a major. That means it can be studied as half of a degree, or music can be studied as a single honours subject, and that means that you study music alongside music production. So if you're interested in any of those courses, or either of those courses, or any other courses, you can contact our team. Or if you go back to the beginning of this presentation, you could contact me directly on my email address, which is on the first slide. And we really hope that you will be excited to explore more about Music at Hope, and perhaps come and see us on an open day and find out a bit more about what it's all about from not just the tutors, but the students as well. Thanks for listening. I hope that has been useful to you.